My name is Laurel Dobson. I'm here with Healthy Living with Oily Blessings, my home business, and I'm really excited to start with my origin story. I've never done anything like this before. This is very new for me. Um, I've done everything a little different than most people my age, as I finished my degree when I was in my 40s, but I'll come to that in a minute. Okay, so just to give you a little background where I'm going and why I am so passionate about healthy living, it's simply because in my 30s, I had 3 children in 4 years. And I was 100% totally enthralled with my children. I loved them to pieces, but I was also a very busy and very active woman. I loved being at home. I cooked, I sewed, I made all their clothes, and so I just did everything because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And it was fine. I did it. I loved it. It was great. However, it did a number on my adrenal system. And so one day my husband said, I think maybe you should exercise. I went, are you kidding? I exercise every day with these kids. Why in the world do I need to exercise? He said, you do need to exercise. I went, okay, fine. So I was shocked. Here I am, 30 years old, fairly thin. I could not run a block, not one block. By the time I came home, I was panting so heavily, I thought, this is absurd. I'm only 30 and I can't run a block? Something's wrong. And so it kind of began changing my focus a little bit. At that point, I was eating whatever I wanted to. When you're young, you do. You eat whatever you want. That's just what you do. My most favorite meal was French fries and fried chicken strips. And I drank lots and lots of coffee to keep me going. I didn't sleep. I slept maybe 4 to 5 hours. And, life was just busy. I loved it. I was just a super active person. I didn't know any better. But, as I began to think about that, and then, he challenged me to finally get to a half a mile, and I could barely run to a half a mile. I didn't run very well to a half a mile. I did walk. But I gave it up. I was not dedicated. He said, oh, you should do aerobics. So that was when, the aerobics were on TV. And so you had a videotape and you videotaped along with the aerobics. And so I would cheat and do my 20 minutes, but not really dedicated. Anyways, fast forward to when I was in my 40s. My girls were all 3 in college. And I decided to go back to college to finish my degree that I had started back when I graduated from high school. And so as my other 3 daughters were in college, I went back to college, finished my degree, and so I started my career in teaching. And it's been a great career. I was an ESL, ELL tutor. I taught Sunday school classes. I taught every kind of class I've taught. But that was my main focus, was teaching English to children who didn't know how to speak English. I love middle schoolers. That's where I was at. And so through that, I was just I didn't have time. I spent all my time with them. I didn't have time to exercise really regularly. Had a daughter who was a health coach, and and she'd say, Mom, you need exercise. I'm going, yeah, I do. I will when I have time. Well, finally I realized that, if I was serious about my health, I needed to really get dedicated. And so I changed that up. And so after I was dedicated, after I changed my thinking, my thought processes, so when I was 45-ish, between 45 and 50, you get perimenopausal. And so things started changing. I no longer could eat the foods that I had been eating all along, the high-fat foods. They made me very, very ill. My body just started rejecting everything. At one point, I was closer to 50 than not, and I thought I was pregnant. I was going to have a baby, but it wasn't. It was because I had so toxified my body that I needed a change, a drastic change. I gave up coffee. I started drinking peppermint water, and long story short, I began a detoxing, which all on my own. I had no idea. I had no clue what the health authorities that we have today about detoxing said. But I did detoxing before detoxing was even around. And so as I started, taking foods out of my diet, I started changing what I was eating. I removed sugar, and so I would come up with alternative. Well, years ago, there was no alternatives. You had all the artificial sugars, and I refused. Even then, I refused to use artificial sugar. I used things like apple juice, frozen apple juice. You could buy little cans of frozen apple juice. It made a wonderful sweetener, especially for Kool-Aid, on which we add a cup of sugar to. So anyways, I did that. And so my diet began to change. So it's just been a journey of health. And, I just really wanted to be able to share some of the hope that I have learned throughout all of this. Then, I was teaching in the education system. I admire teachers. It's a very stressful career. It takes its toll, especially if you're a bit like I am and you give 150% every single day. It's your career, and most women do, at your career, in your home, with your children, and now with grandchildren. And so you're trying to do all these things, and and church, and you're trying to balance everything. Well, your body can't handle all of that. And so you have to start slowing things down. And so finally I did decide to retire, but I love teaching. And so I am still teaching lots of different classes. I teach after school classes, but mainly I really wanted to focus on healthy living. Because that's what I want to do. That's where my main goal has been all along. It's sharing hope for those who are hurting and changing their diets, because there are so many alternatives out today. And the Young Living program has so many alternatives, and it's an amazing business. And I'm just so excited. I don't know what I could do without it right now. I have more energy. I am retired. Yep. And so I have more energy now than sometimes my kids. But they're raising children, and I know it's difficult. But the oils have made a world of difference. I start my mornings with my oils. I use them in the afternoon, especially this time of the year. My Thieves products, they're wonderful, because instead of tearing down your immune system because you're using all these toxic chemicals, you begin building up your immune system. That by the Thieves Cleaner, you're building your immune system. And as you're building your immune system, it's a wonderful aspect to improve your health, especially today with all of the craziness going around. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I'm just so excited to be learning. Because I'm a teacher, one of the things about I love to learn. And so here I am, backwards again. I am retired and learning about digital marketing. My first job after I retired was a digital marketing job, and I love it. It's very slow for me. I am a little turtle moving along, but you know what? The turtle run the ways. So there is hope for all of those. I am a born-again Christian, and I love the Lord. And there is a verse that has been so inspiring for me, and it's Psalm 92, and it says, "The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree, and in their old age they will bear fruit and not perish." And that's what I like to remember, because a palm tree has to go through hurricane force winds, and that's what makes the roots strong. A palm tree, if it doesn't go through the hurricane, it doesn't get strong. These kind of trials, these kind of difficult times that we're going through, those are what's going to make us strong. And I've learned all of those things, and I just want to be able to share that. That's my heart. I want to share hope to those who are hurting, hope that you can be healthy. And it's not too late. You are not too old. We are the great generation. Well, not exactly great generation. We are our own generation. We're the baby boomers. We're the baby boomers. Although they're going to have to come up with a new name come December when all these new coronavirus babies start coming up. Anyways, that's all for me. I hope that's it.